Welcome to the voice of St. Anthony Parish, Malston, Massachusetts, right here on WROL 950 AM 100.3 FM. And you can also hear us at CatholicAudiomedia.com. That's CatholicAudiomedia.com. And don't forget, you can find us on your favorite podcast platform. Look for Catholic Audio Media, one word, or Catholic Audio Media, three words on Spotify, and scroll till you see the voice of St. Anthony Parish. Well, we've been talking this week about the Church's teaching on artificial contraception. Remember, the Church believes in contraception, natural contraception, but used also not to prevent a married couple from having children at all, but from being able to limit the amount of children they have within their means, is a better way of putting it. So that is the difference, but it really comes to help people understand that the natural family planning works with the biology of basically the woman in trying to limit the number of births that a couple may have. And again, the reason for that is to make sure that their capability is within the amount of children they have, basically, is a good way to put it. But we don't believe in artificial contraception, because that implies that that puts a human technology interfering with the will of God, is the way Catholics look at it. Other people from other faiths don't look at it the same way, but this is the way Catholics do, which is the reason why Catholics do not believe in artificial contraception, but do believe in natural forms of contraception. And the reason why this is important is something that is not taught well in the United States. I don't know about other English-speaking countries, although I suspect not there too, because English-speaking countries have something in common, and we won't go there. I guess maybe that's my Irish side coming out. I don't know. But anyway, English-speaking countries tend to be more law-based, and they tend to be this very rules-based idea. And so therefore, people will speak rules and say, these are the rules. And of course, you know that old style that I talked about in the last passage. These are the rules, and if you don't follow the rules, then God will cast you into hell. People that used to preach like that. And some people still do. And that's an awful image of God. I think one of the things I like to bring up as an image of God is The Wizard of Oz, the 1939 movie. Was it 1939? Or it might have been 1934, but you know who I mean. You know, with the Wizard of Oz and the color and the black and white and Auntie M and the whole bit. And of course, there was Judy Garland singing Somewhere Over the Rainbow, that Wizard of Oz. Well, I've always said that a lot of people have an understanding of God based on a hologram Wizard of Oz that you see in the movie. Silence! You must do this. You know, that whole bit. And I've had people say, yes, Father, you're absolutely right. That exactly is the image of God that we were brought up with. And so when you take that image of God and you put that into church teaching, then it becomes like a dictatorship. You must follow what this says, or you will be cast into hell. That is not church teaching. And I can give you a good example of this, and I was doing a little research on this. Do you know that the prophets, and we can even talk about some of the apostles too, but the prophets went through extremely difficult times, and they had deep relationships with God. But they also went through extremely difficult times, so much so that they would call out to God in their help. And literally, 3 of them, I bring this up a lot, 3 of them came to a point where they basically said, kill me now. I'm done. I've had it. You're telling me to do this, that, and the other thing. Well, I'm done. And that's actually true. Moses did, and Elijah did. Both of them came to points in their ministry where they said, I'm done. And so when we turn around and we say to people, this is the way you have to live, otherwise you'll be cast into hell, we're not acting as God did. Because God understood and he listened and he responded. And that's an important thing. Even if we can take something very benign where Moses is speaking, this is not the example where he said, I'm done, but Moses is speaking to God when he is on the mountain and God is the bush that is on fire but is not being consumed. And he says, how am I going to do what you asked me to do? How am I going to even do this? I stutter. And God says, fine, we'll give you Aaron, and Aaron will help you. We're going to talk more on the other side of the break. You're listening to the voice of St. Anthony Parish from Allston, Massachusetts. Life can be challenging, but amidst the trials and tribulations, there is wisdom to be found. Welcome to Sirach 2, a chapter filled with timeless guidance and insights from the book of Sirach. In this chapter, we learn the importance of remaining steadfast in our faith, even in the face of adversity. It teaches us to be patient, for trials can shape our character and lead to spiritual growth. Seeking wisdom and understanding is of utmost importance. Sirach 2 reminds us to study the teachings of the wise, be open to correction, and follow God's commandments. By doing so, we can find true fulfillment and blessings. Don't be discouraged by the temporary prosperity of the wicked or the challenges you may face. Trust in God's justice, for he rewards those who diligently seek him. Join us on this journey of faith as we discover the path to a meaningful and fulfilling life. Sirach 2 is your roadmap to wisdom, patience, and eternal blessings. Read Sirach 2 and let its timeless wisdom guide you through life's ups and downs. Available now in the book of Sirach, part of the Old Testament. Brought to you by the voice of St. Anthony Parish in Allston. We're back, and we're talking about that understanding of our relationship with God. So in a Catholic marriage, that is a vocation by God. So it's important to teach the husband and wife that prayer is as essential to them as it was to Moses and Elijah, because they need to be people of prayer if they're going to be cooperating with God in this institution of marriage. Now, that goes for everything. It goes for priesthood and religious life and everything else, and being a single person too, which is also a vocation. Now, one of the important things to look at and to understand in light of that is that this is a mission from God, in a sense. Well, it is, and that's why it's a sacrament. So we are wrong when we are saying, that's just the way you got to live. You got to live like that, and you just got to suck it up and do it, because that's what God says, and if you don't do what God says, he's going to cast you into hell. That's stupid. It really is, because that's not the way God treated Moses. It's not the way he treated Elijah. He was very demanding of both of them, but they were also able to respond, said, Lord, you've got to help me here. I've had enough, Lord. I can't take any more. You've got to help me here. We can find that they all, the prophets, were in that position. And so in light of that, we've got to be able to teach married couples the same thing, because if we don't, then we're not doing our job. And I get really frustrated. I'm going to talk more about this tomorrow. I get really frustrated when I hear people tell someone who's going through a hard time, well, that's just the way it is, and you just got to do it that way, and get over it. By the way, I got to run away because I got to go to a coffee shop. You know? Maybe I shouldn't use so many voices, but anyway. But you hear what I'm saying. That doesn't do anyone any good. That's the rule. And you better listen to this. That's not helping anyway. As a matter of fact, what I think it is, it's very similar to when Jesus said to the Pharisees that you are putting heavy burdens on people, and but you're not picking them up yourselves. And so it's important to understand that marriage is a vocation, But marriage needs to be formed within the concept of a vocation, such as the vocations we see in the Old Testament, and they were always rooted in prayer. And so that's why that communication, you have to teach people that this is what it's all about. It's this powerful connection, this powerful reality, this powerful truth. And I'm going to talk more about this tomorrow, but that's one of the aspects. So the church's teaching against artificial contraception is not about, well, you got to really just live like this and get over it. It is, no, you're part of a bigger thing. And that bigger thing is this was instituted by God, and therefore you are in a position where you're cooperating in the creative power of God. Therefore, that's the whole focus of marriage, and being so, you need to take that within the concept of what it stands for. And you can't do it if you're not uniting yourself in prayer, because the prophets couldn't have done what they did without prayer, and neither can you. And of course, I always like to bring up the example that Jesus, even though Jesus was the second person of the Trinity, he still prayed every morning to the Father. I mean, technically, I suppose he could have said, I'm God, I can do whatever I want. But he never did that. He's always listened and obeyed the Father. But in order to do that, he had to be in prayer. So if we're teaching people, this is the way you got to live and you better do it or else, and we're not teaching people about being in that unique relationship with God as part of their vocation, then we're not teaching people anything worth of any value. Simply said that way. We're going to talk more tomorrow, and in that case, have yourself a blessed day. I want to call your attention to Catholic TV, which offers great faith-filled, family-friendly programming 24 hours a day. You can find your cable channel at www.getcatholictv.com, and you can watch online on the free apps or check out the YouTube channel. Daily Mass, Rosaries, the Divine Mercy Chaplet, and the Our Lady of Perpetual Help Novena are all available online and on demand. Check out CatholicTV.com. If you're searching for a meaningful spiritual experience, look no further than St. Anthony's Parish in Allston, Massachusetts. Join us at 43 Holton Street in between Soldiers Field Road and the Mass Pike. Immerse yourself in the complete St. Anthony's Parish encounter through our 10 o'clock a.m. chanted Mass. Whether you're a Catholic seeking a parish to call home or someone looking for spiritual guidance, our welcoming community is here for you. Visit our website at www.stanthonyalston.org for more information. St. Anthony's Parish, where faith finds a home.